got no choice.
At a taco joint, William Duncan makes what should be a simple food run after his daughter Kat crushes it at softball. But while he's inside ordering their victory meal, two souped-up cars roll up like a death squad. Kat watches masked killers surround her father's vehicle, and her celebration instantly turns into a nightmare. When Kat tries bolting from the car, they snatch her up effortlessly. She offers them everything, but Danny Fetter, barely out of his teens with dead shark eyes, tells her he doesn't want material things. This is his gang initiation, and Kat just became the sacrificial lamb. Without blinking, Danny executes her in cold blood while his crew watches approvingly.
I don't want your money, little girl. I want your soul.
William hears the gunshot and his blood runs cold. He rushes outside to find the killers already speeding away, except for one gunman who froze up. William tackles him in a rage, but the coward kicks him away, just as police sirens wail in the distance. The shooter surrenders immediately. At the hospital, William paces while surgeons fight to save Kat's life. His wife Jen arrives in tears, and they hold each other as time crawls by. When the operating room doors finally open, the doctor's face tells them everything. Kat didn't make it. The legal system serves up its own brand of cruelty. Danny's looking at a maximum of 5 years, maybe 3 with good behavior. The prosecutor explains the harsh reality. No cameras caught the murder, no weapon was recovered, and William's head injury makes his testimony inadmissible. When William loses his mind demanding actual justice, the prosecutor delivers the crushing blow. They've got nothing solid to work with. When the prosecutor asks him to identify Kat's killer, William stares directly at Danny and delivers the performance of his life. "I cannot identify the attacker," he lies with conviction. The case implodes instantly and Danny walks out a free man, unaware he just signed his own death warrant. Outside the courthouse, the Fetter family celebrates like they just won the criminal lottery. Rory wraps Danny in a bear hug, gushing about how proud he is of his little brother's achievement. William shadows them like a ghost, watching this sick family reunion while his grief mutates into something far more dangerous. That evening, he follows Danny to his favorite nightclub and parks across the street like a hunter waiting for the perfect shot. When Danny finally stumbles out drunk and alone, William's transformation from grieving father to cold-blooded killer begins. The execution is swift and brutal. William floors the accelerator and turns his car into a missile, launching Danny's body across the parking lot. Danny's legs are shattered, leaving him helpless on the asphalt. As recognition dawns in the killer's eyes, William retrieves a baseball bat. Danny tries one last pathetic attempt at mocking Kat's final moments. That's when William's military training takes over. One perfectly calculated swing turns Danny's skull into a crime scene. William races home and methodically destroys every piece of evidence linking him to the murder. But when he walks inside, the weight of what he's done hits him. Jen sits in the living room, watching Kat's old birthday videos, completely unaware that her husband just crossed a line he can never uncross. In the bathroom, William tries washing Danny's blood from his hands, but the red stains seem permanent. The grief-stricken father who walked into that courthouse no longer exists. Meanwhile, Rory discovers Danny's mangled corpse and transforms into a man possessed. He storms through the nightclub like a hurricane, interrogating every witness until he finds the girl who approached William that night. She picks William out of a photo lineup without hesitation, and Rory finally has his target. The war between two grieving families officially begins. Detective Chen arrives at William's doorstep the next morning with the Danny's murder investigation. He asks routine questions about William's whereabouts, and William delivers his alibi with practiced calm. Jen supports his story perfectly, but her woman's intuition screams that something's wrong. After Chen leaves, she confronts William directly. Their argument explodes when William feels attacked by the one person who should trust him completely.
I don't want you to go back to how you were.
What does that mean? It's our daughter. You know what? I can't believe you'd even say that.
He storms out, leaving Jen in tears and more suspicious than ever. Rory's revenge comes swift and merciless, He tracks William to a quiet cafe where he's working on his laptop, completely vulnerable. The assassination attempt unfolds in broad daylight as Rory and his muscle Henley move in for the kill. But they underestimate their target. William's marine reflexes kick in with lethal precision. He turns the tables on his attackers, using the environment as his weapon.
I want to watch you. You killed my brother.
Henley dies hard, and William escapes, though he accidentally drops his wallet in the panic. William barricades his house like a fortress and demands police protection. When Detective Chen arrives, he cuts through the bullshit immediately. He knows William murdered Danny, and he knows this blood feud will consume everyone involved. Chen reveals William's military service record, acknowledging that an ex-Marine can handle himself in combat, but agrees to post patrol cars outside. That night becomes confession time. William finally tells Jen the truth about Danny's execution, and she stands by him despite the horror. They're planning their escape when everything goes sideways. Someone hurls a bottle at the patrol car, forcing the officers to abandon their post. Seconds later, Rory and Donnie kick down the front door. The home invasion becomes a masterclass in psychological torture. Donnie reveals he knows exactly what William did to Danny, and he's here to balance the scales. When William begs them to leave Jen out of their war, Donnie responds by putting a bullet through her skull without warning. Jen dies instantly while William screams in helpless agony. Rory follows up by shooting William multiple times, leaving him bleeding out next to his wife's corpse. But William refuses to die. He crawls across his blood-soaked floor like a wounded animal, reaching the phone through sheer willpower. His call to 911 saves his life, though part of him wishes it hadn't. William's rehabilitation becomes his training ground for war. He learns to walk again, not for healing, but for hunting. During his recovery, he steals janitor scrubs and escapes the hospital like a ghost. He checks into the Western Motel, where fate introduces him to Dante, a street-smart arms dealer who recognizes the infamous William Duncan from news coverage. Dante reveals his own bloody history with the Fetter family. They murdered his cousin and left him with a permanent shoulder wound.
Then he killed my cousin?
When he learns about William's war against the same enemies, Dante opens his personal armory. William withdraws his life savings and transforms it into enough firepower to level a small building. William disappears into the wilderness for intensive weapons training. His marine muscle memory returns gradually as he practices shooting until his accuracy becomes surgical. When he's finally ready, William visits Kat and Jen's graves one last time, promising them that justice will be served in blood. His first target is Zach, Rory's right-hand man. William breaks into Zach's house during a late-night gaming session, catching him completely off guard. After brutal hand-to-hand combat that tests every survival skill William learned in the military, he executes Zach with professional efficiency, extracting Rory's location before pulling the trigger. Detective Chen realizes the body count will keep climbing unless someone intervenes. He visits the Fetter stronghold to warn them that William survived their assassination attempt and is systematically hunting them down.
I'm here on a mission of goodwill to end this war, both sides. I just want it to stop.
But the Fetters dismiss his warnings with typical arrogance. Chen then visits William directly, pleading for sanity. But William has moved far beyond reason. He promises to surrender after completing his mission, but warns Chen not to interfere or become another casualty. William's assault on the Fetter Empire begins with psychological warfare. He infiltrates their nightclub by playing the part of a stumbling drunk, easily bypassing security who see him as harmless. His act gets him face-to-face with Donnie in his private office, where the old gangster accepts his fate with grim resignation. William asks if Donnie felt anything when he executed Jen, and the man's complete lack of remorse seals his death warrant. One bullet to the head, and the Fetter patriarch joins his son in hell. Using Donnie's own phone, William calls Rory to deliver the news with ice-cold satisfaction. Rory races back to the club with his remaining soldiers, triggering a vicious firefight that turns the building into a war zone. William uses every military tactic he knows, turning the club's layout into his advantage. He barely escapes with a shoulder wound, leaving behind a trail of bodies and one very pissed-off surviving Fetter. William limps back to the motel, where Dante patches his wounds, but their location gets compromised by the same club girl who identified William earlier. When Rory arrives with overwhelming firepower, they steal a car and tear through the city streets in a high-speed chase.
Go, go! Go, go, go!
Dante contacts his friend Roach, who owns an underground auto garage, and agrees to provide sanctuary. They reach the garage just as Roach's crew opens fire on Rory's vehicles with military-grade weapons. But Rory proves he's his father's son by refusing to retreat. He crashes through the garage doors like a man possessed, absorbing gunfire that would drop ordinary criminals. The final battle becomes intensely personal as both men face off, bloodied and exhausted, but determined to finish what their families started. Rory makes the classic villain mistake of explaining his pain instead of pulling the trigger. He talks about how Danny was too pure for their violent world, how unfair it was for him to die so young. While Rory wallows in his grief, William spots a screwdriver within reach. In one fluid motion, he grabs the tool and drives it deep into Rory's neck, ending the war with the same cold efficiency that started it. Police sirens wail in the distance as William lies dying from his wounds, finally at peace, knowing he kept his promise to Kat and Jen. Detective Chen arrives to find the entire Feder organization wiped out, and William breathing his last breaths. The broken father who lost everything managed to destroy a criminal empire through pure determination and tactical brilliance, though the victory cost him his life. Thanks for watching till the end. Your support keeps us going and helps us bring more awesome stories to life. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and stay tuned for the next movie on Addict Recap.